I've been covering Haiti for many years, and it's always been kind of a dire situation. It wasn't until the kidnapping of these 17 individuals that really the world sort of turned around and said, hey, what's happening in Haiti? You would be forgiven for thinking that the country isn't cursed somehow. But this is the first time that I've visited Haiti and actually felt that little bit of fear in the back of my neck. My name is Manuel Rapalo. I'm a correspondent for Al Jazeera, and between us, I don't want to imagine how much harder life could get for the people of Haiti before things finally start to improve. We arrived in Haiti just after the news broke that these missionaries and their families had been abducted by this gang called 400 Mowozo, which is one of the most notorious gangs in Port-au-Prince. They've made a lucrative business out of extortion and out of kidnappings. They're asking for $17 million, $1 million per head. What we also know about this gang is that in moments where the families don't pay up, the hostages are killed. It's hard to know exactly how many gangs operate in Haiti, but some human rights organizations place that number upwards of 90. In the first 3 quarters of the year, there have been close to 800 kidnappings that took place in Haiti. There are entire neighborhoods that have been vacated because of people who have been displaced by the violence, who have simply decided that it's not worth the risk to their lives. Some people even have kidnapping funds, money that they set aside in the event that they themselves or a family member were to get kidnapped by a gang. Gang violence in Haiti is not necessarily a new phenomenon, but just after the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in July, violence has really grown to unprecedented levels. Women and children are now being targeted at a rate far higher than any rate in the past. There are no safe places left for children in Haiti. What was once considered taboo for a gang member to walk into a church and kidnap a priest in the middle of a service, all of these things are now happening almost on a daily basis. What we've seen over the course of this last year, over the past few months, is an insane rise in the price of fuel. People are waiting for days just hoping to get 1 or 2 gallons for their motorbike. What ends up happening is that fuel is now being sold on the black market by the same gangs who are stealing it.
The government is not doing its job. They are the ones that should give us security.
And what's happened over the course of the past year and a half following the worsening of the COVID-19 pandemic is a lot of those jobs have disappeared. So many of them have said, we're going to try our luck making it to the United States, taking that perilous journey up through South America. What's happening in Tapachula is the result of a joint policy between Mexico and the United States, which is a policy of containment. The idea is that all migration be halted upon reaching Mexico's border with Guatemala. And what this has done, it's created the biggest bottleneck for migrants on the American continent. The largest number that we've encountered at this point are from Haiti. I'm used to covering stories of immigration. I understand very well why people flee. It made me realize how similar we are. I couldn't help but see a cousin's face or my sister's face.
This is why your country because you use your women for this.
So we've seen in recent months how the United States' response to the Haitian migrant crisis on the U.S. southern border has resulted in many, many repatriation flights. But for the folks who are being sent back to Haiti, they've been gone for a decade. They're coming back to a country that they barely even know, with children who in many cases weren't even born in the country, don't even speak Creole or speak French. When they return to Haiti, they still are living in a country that is no longer theirs. There's no easy answer to why Haiti is such a complicated country, why it's so poor, why it's so violent. At the end of the day, if there is no political will to change the country, we can't expect anything to really change in a meaningful way. I believe in my heart that Haitians are the toughest people, the most resilient people on earth. They've gone through so much and they've come out on the other end smiling. But they're human beings and they're not immune to what's happening for them, and they deserve more.